So, how do we start?
How do we start? Maybe with a movie, with a clip. Wasn't that where we kind of ended?
Yeah.
Last time.
Gonzalo?
Yeah.
Yeah? What do you think? Where did we end?
Where would we check?
You're back in school, mister.
Yeah, it's true. No, we were because there were a few things actually. Yeah, it's but we were talking quite a lot about Keaton and Chaplin and tradition and being precise and rhythm. So we were more or less there. We were like ready to start to start watching the videos actually.
Yeah, I remember we were talking about gravity points and how the what is in between the beats, that it can change the course of the gravity point, just like the absurd solution of the clown to a given problem that seems very simple can put the whole thing into a different track, can open up very unexpected direction.
I think that you wanted to show us the Fawlty Towers, no?
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I have sent you this video, and because the video that you sent me, the one of the Marx Brothers, was very much
with the contract.
With the sanity clause.
With a contract. Yeah. Because it was a way to explain or to, let's say, to make more clear the fact of how important is the rhythm on this on comedy. And this video of John Cleese is very interesting because the video of the Marx Brothers, they are playing in a duo. They are two. So they are like playing this kind of ping pong and making this rhythm creating the rhythm together. But here in this video, you can hear John Cleese talking, and then there is a drummer who is just playing drums on top of John Cleese's voice, and it creates a very nice tension and a very nice rhythm you will hear.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to listen to John Cleese. It's the series Fawlty Towers, no? So it's a short clip of Fawlty Towers. The whole series is about a hotel, no? It's about a hotel in England, and John Cleese plays the boss of the hotel in all the series. And now there are coming German guests. So, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
I beg your pardon?
Entschuldigen Sie bitte, können Sie Deutsch sprechen?
I'm sorry, could you say it again?
You speak German?
Oh, German! I'm sorry, I thought there was something wrong with you. Oh, of course! The German.
You speak German?
Well, a little, I get by.
Ein bisschen.
Wir wollen ein Auto mieten.
Well, why not?
Bitte.
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky. Would you mind saying it again?
Please?
Could you repeat? Amplify? Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, well, we'll come back to that.
Wollen?
Voluntary?
Ein Auto mieten.
Auto. Oh, I see. You're volunteering to go out to get some meat. Not necessary. We have meat here. We have meat here in the building. Polly, just explaining about the meat.
Oh, we weren't expecting you.
Oh, weren't you? The Germans. Don't mention the war.
I see.
The Germans. Don't mention the war. Okay, now we're going to listen to a different track. And in this track, what is going to happen, we will hear.
Wir wollen ein Auto mieten.
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky. Would you mind saying it again?
Please?
Could you repeat? Amplify? Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, well, we'll come back to that.
Wollen?
Voluntary?
Ein Auto mieten.
Auto. Oh, I see. You're volunteering to go out to get some meat. Not necessary. We have meat here. We have meat here in the building.
It's so good. Oh. Wow.
Yeah.
That was virtuous.
Yeah, it's very nice, huh?
It's amazing.
Yeah, and somehow, this is something that it's like what you feel like when you uh what we were saying the other day is like the urgency, no? That you have to feel all the time, like in comedy. It's like this rhythm that can be a vibration, something that comes from inside, from you, and also a lot from the relation with the audience. So it's something that gives this the touch of these drums behind, like going. So you don't have time to think too much.
Yeah.
You have to be there.
That's absolutely what I find so exciting about playing a rhythm and being a tap dancer, that there's this danger, because the rhythm, you have to be on it, you have to be in it. If you're not, then you're so obviously failing that even when the rhythm is free, you have to have this like tightness on it, and I really recognize that in this clip. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
I wonder do you think he's thinking about that when he's playing?
No,
I don't think so. It's something that, it's like, I don't know, it's same with musicians. Is when you play, the music, you just feel the music, and you just enjoy playing the music, and it comes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something.
Actually, there's something to be said, I think, on that, which is that when you start to improvise, you always look for the surprise or the contrast, or where, which change that you can make gives an interesting twist or an impulse to the music, either in the sense of heightening the tension or in the sense of releasing the tension. And I feel that he's doing very, very precisely this with his voice, but also with the content of his words and the play on the choice of words, and with the understanding, not understanding, that he's honed his instinct for, okay, now I do it like here, and then I go up, and then I will go here. It's very musical in that sense, how he's shaping it to keep it interesting and surprising somehow.
Yeah, and also demands to be engaged 120% in the action. You have to be there.
Mm-hmm.
You can't lose the rhythm.
Yeah, so I do think it's something like an instinct, like a technical instinct that you train.
So. Yeah.
I mean, Simon, isn't it the same for any text acting or any acting for that sense? When you talk like this all the time and it is really boring, that.
Yeah, actually, it is interesting, because in the first moments when you let's say when you start to train with the voice and you start to learn to use your voice and you start with a text, the first thing that you have to get rid of is the natural how do you say, quote unquote, the natural emphasis, inflections, emphasis, the natural rhythm, because
and the melody.
Yeah, that you have to kind of, when you, maybe this is also comparable to musicians when they train with a metronome, no? Because when you start to train and you start to develop a text, you have to go to kind of a level 0 where you can speak text as a just sound material without any emphasis, without any, how do you say it? Inflection?
Very technical.
Yes, yes.
Inflection.
And with that level 0 afterwards, then try really to play with it, to create it, because of course we are speaking about theater, so we are speaking about a fiction and about a second layer, a second nature, no? It's not natural. If it was natural, then it would happen naturally, but you cannot, it is on the stage, it is difficult to reproduce this nature. You have to really you have to work on it, and that is where when you learn, you first learn that you cannot that you are always speaking in the same way, the text, and you don't have any subtle changes in the rhythm, and you tend to always to interpret the text. In fact, when you learn a text, and then you normally you learn the content, and this content makes you then afterwards produce the text on stage in a certain way, which is your intellectual interpretation of it. No, that's why, let's say, you're on stage and you say, "My brother has died," or whatever. No, then you say it maybe in a sad way. No, this is a cliche. It's not. It's your intellectual interpretation of it. It's not what would be in the reality, in the nature. That you are, as you're, in the nature, you are. You react to a lot of different impulses. No, maybe this brother was secretly also your enemy. No, and some part of you is feeling like satisfied that he's died. No, so this would shape the tone of your voice, or who is in front of you, and these changes, these interesting, let's say, these interesting dimensions of layers of meaning, they are somehow transported through rhythm. And maybe you can work, maybe it's also a difference between how do you start to work on a role. You can maybe start with a psychological way, to really understand the role and to think about it and to create the character, the fictional character. Or you can also do both together, but you can also work on the rhythm. And if you start to work on the rhythm, then you start to communicate a lot of different things. So this was a very long sermon by me, just to say that. Can
you say it again, Simon? Can you repeat all that?
I think that, of course, it is intuitive. He's working intuitively with that, but you cannot reproduce it without. You cannot reproduce your own art without studying also rhythm. And without playing, for instance, if I have the word "my brother just died," I can say "my brother just died," or "my brother just died," or "my brother just died." No, these different things there is a lot of different possibilities of intonation and of rhythm, and you can play with it like with music, and to develop a certain kind of flexibility and maybe alphabet that you can use.
And virtuosity.
Yes, of course. And these tools that you gain through playing, like your how do you say, Tonleiter, your scale, your scale on the guitar or wherever, you then can shape it to what you need to say, and to what emerges in the.
Actually, I think you shape it even beyond what you want to say. This is when you become truly interesting as a musician. It's not what you want to say, but it's your musical sense that takes you to a place that you could never even explain anymore what I'm wanting to say. It's much more complex and way more surprising also for yourself.
Yeah, of course. Want to say it's not the right word.
But it's interesting because you go through the phase of first, being able to say what you want to say is a very important step, I would say. But then after that, there is another country that is kind of waiting for the artist.
Yeah, and so you asked me about working with a text, no? And I know when we work on a performance, then there is the moment when you really, everything by heart, no? This is, let's say, when we compare again, when we compare again the music to theater, the writing of the partiture, is the first thing, is developing everything, the text and learning everything. Then when you know it by heart, then the partiture is written, So, and then you start to to getting to know it, and you start playing it. And then you can, of course, there is certain things. One sentence is 10 words long, and you should say it so that it's intelligible and it's understood. But let's say if the piece is in allegro, it's in this kind of mood, then you play with the subtleties of the rhythm, and you can change and you can react also to what the partner is doing. So it becomes an interesting kind of improvisation in this rehearsal process, and also beyond the rehearsal when we perform. When we perform, we can also adjust. If we know everything by heart, we can then start to dilate a little bit there and make a little bit faster there, and then we get almost out of balance with the partner, and then we come back, and then it starts to breathe. Breathing is maybe the right word for it. And I think that John Cleese in this clip, and every great performer is doing it, is creating this breath and this dance on the gravity, what we were talking about. Yeah, and like Gonzalo, we were talking about also the connection with the audience and with the laughing also, because and with the communication, to stay in and out and to go to the edge and come back and to take them with you. And if they start to laugh, if they start to react, then maybe you can provoke a little bit more, and then
Yeah, also because you were just saying and talking about the rehearsals, but in comedy, the rehearsals, you can rehearse only a part of the whole thing, because I think that we create, I don't know how to say it, but I don't know if it call it you can call it your own clown or your own style or your own way of performing comedy, but it's something that comes with time. And also because it's something that you have to try. You try it with the audience, and the audience will say if it works out or not. And sometimes on the room we can create the perfect idea, of a scene or anything, and or of a character, or how the character will speak, or how he will behave. But at the end, the only thing that you do there is to construct around the real character or the clown. It's something that it will break when you will meet the audience. So and then
how is that in film then?
Sorry?
How is that in film then? With movies?
It's the thing is that many of the comedy or comic actors in movies, they were also actors from the live performance. Maybe not John Cleese or the Monty Pythons, but
they also did live performances.
Sorry,
they also did live performances.
Yeah. But it's people who know how to be on stage. How to be in front of an audience. So
this they bring into the movie, this experience.
It's not, maybe they don't bring this experience of being in front of an audience to the movies, but they have create their own let's say style, or their own clown, or their own way of performing. And to do this, the main thing and the key is to fail a lot of times and keep going, because at the beginning it really doesn't work. Nobody is born being good on stage. There's no the comic actors. Some of them they start when they were very young, so they had a lot of time to how to say, to create or to develop their art. But at the end you have to fail, and then you know how to avoid it with time and how to. But it's just to say that you can rehearse a part of it for your performance, but at the end.
And you have to be on the stage and tell your joke, and your pun comes, and then.
Sorry? You tell your joke and your what comes? Say it.
Simon.
You don't hear this?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that was my failed joke, of course.
Yeah. That was unexpected.
Don't worry. You know this situation. You tell the joke and then silence. Nothing happens. Nobody's laughing.
Yeah.
Nobody understands.
Gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes. Hello. Yeah. And
actually, I have another clip with rhythm. Maybe I can show you. This is a musical duo, and actually we will just hear one half of them. Is the pianist, and they made some records in the 50s, and it's like jazz and popular music, and they completely screw up everything. And they did it under, it was like a party gig for two very well respected, very good musicians, a singer and a arranger, pianist. And so when they made these records, nobody knew who they were. And they really didn't want this to be attached to their real names. But journalist, of course, found out, and so they were exposed at some point. But the humor that is here, it's very much abstract in a sense, because music is so abstract, and it's really working on the structure of what is musically right and what would be musically absurd. So somehow you have to know a bit, I think, about music to even get it. I'm actually really curious how you will find it. So
this is called Keeping Out of Mischief now?
Yes.
Okay.
That's nice.
Okay, the end. I didn't get it, but the end was very nice. So
the end is very nice.
But what? Now it surprised me. I would like to listen just to the end again. I don't know if it's possible. I can, because this is not so. Wait, I will try. I cannot, but to make it gets better every time, no?
It's very funny to imagine Simon struggling with the program, trying to start the music with this music behind.
Now, because now if we speak. I don't know why we're laughing. That's good. You have to listen to it twice, actually.
Yeah.
But there's so much going wrong there.
Yeah, so much. But it's going wrong with that you really start to see this pianist kind of struggling and falling off the keys and kind of making these nice breaks, and it's kind of it doesn't really okay. Especially the last one, you kind of hear him like go on a journey and then start to think, oh my god, this is not going to go right. Oh my god, shit, I won't make it. Okay, I just do the last chord.
But this is as you say, involuntarily comic, or is it?
No, it's it's very, very cleverly constructed comedy. So this guy, his stage name was Jonathan Edwards, and his partner was Darlene Edwards, which was actually his wife. So the real name is Paul Weston, and he was a conductor and arranger, and his wife was a classical singer, Jo Stafford. Really good people, like superb musicians. And she had this wonderful talent to sing out of tune. Like she could, of course, she was brilliant normally, but then she could also really well sing out of tune, which is not that easy to do. And he had this other talent to make this kind of, it's really slapstick, no? It's musical slapstick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where he just messes up, there's a perfectly good solution to the phrase, and he just messes it up. Because he tries to do too complicated or too nice, and he just doesn't get home again.
Yeah. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it's the only one that I know, like Larry Goldings, he's also a jazz pianist. He also made kind of funny jazz in the sense that he also sings out of tune, and he plays his own piano and he sings, so it's even a double act. He's both the straight man and the clumsy one who does everything wrong, which is kind of mind blowing when you think of it.
I'm thinking,
but this is more.
This is more.
Yeah, no, this goes more deeply into the music. I find this one. Yeah. Pianist.
Recently there was one, I don't know if you remember, I didn't bring any clip, but there is an incredible group in Argentina, and it's called Les Luthiers. They are very famous, at least in Argentina and South America. And one of the members just died. They are more than 50 years of performing. And they started as a university group, I think, and they were Les Luthiers because they built strange instruments and always dressed very nicely with a really good suit, only men. And they had strange instruments, and they were very, very virtuose musicians. And they made shows, it's similar to this, where they also... everything, the music is perfect almost. You see that they really they master their instruments and everything, and so that they can just put every accident inside and every little thing, and it's very nice. If you speak Spanish, and even if you don't speak Spanish, you should check it out. someday.
Yes. Maybe send a link, put a link in the show notes. Would be very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, they're really.
Yeah, there's something about this kind of music, funny things. It also brings, something has to communicate to you as a listener, no, for it to become funny for you. If you really know nothing about music and you have no sense of it, then this might sound just like any other pianist.
This is
you won't get the joke.
Yeah, this is the kind of, I think we talked about that, the kind of a communication, and also to the trust that you build up with the spectator, with the audience, that you kind of seduce them into but you have to know that they know that they know it, no? But you have to take them along. They have a kind of, I think we were talking about a situation. You create a situation like Gonzalo's performance. You put up a bar, and the goal is to make the first cocktail for the mayor. No, it's a very clear situation, and then it has a certain logic, no, which is coming, and then you can surprise.
But if you don't know what is a mayor or even what is a cocktail bar, what do you think, Gonzalo? Would it still be funny?
But it's like this is only an excuse at the end. The bar and the mayor and the cocktail is what happens around.
The slapstick.
Yeah, it helps you to have some fixed point on your structure. But at the end, it's what happens around.
But would you get it if you really don't know what is the situation? Would you still? Would it still be funny?
Yeah,
I think. Just, imagine.
Yeah, there are two things for me in comedy. Now, sometimes comedy, it's used as a way to say something. No, like in theater often, but sometimes it's just something that we can call it more universal, not just. When somebody falls, or when you have accidents or slapstick, it's like more close to something grotesque, something that happens at the moment, not something that it creates some other kind of communication with the audience. It's not what you would like to tell them, but now what's happened. It's when somebody falls, it's not really funny, to see somebody falling.
Yeah.
So what makes it funny? It's the full context also often that helps to create this let's say comic situation at the end, because there is no comic situation. If you see most of the situations in comedy are very tragic. No? Even if you don't know what is a bar, or even if you don't know what is a mayor, you will see that somebody is coming to give a glass to something. To somebody that seems to be important, and then the glass will fall down, and then you will try to do your best to to solve the problem, and you create more and more problems, and then it's like this kind of the snowball. So this will happen in front of your eyes, that you'll see this is not possible. This guy is really making worse than. So this is what happens, and then this is what you create somehow. But even if you don't know that it's a mayor, you will see that person struggling and trying to do his best, but his best is really maybe not
disaster.
A disaster, yeah.
Gonzalo, it reminds me of a documentary I saw. It was not really it doesn't really matter. It was a Netflix show about humans, and they were doing all this kind of experiments with 100 humans. Quite interesting, actually. And one was about humor, and they did this experiment that they showed half of the group a series of really bad accidents, like
real accidents.
Well, yeah, real accidents. No one died in the accidents, but they were really like harsh stuff. And one group saw it without any music and without any laughter, and the other group saw it with music and with laughter.
Yeah.
And And the group, you can already feel it coming. The group that saw it with music and laughter thought it was hilarious. And the group who saw it without this accompaniment, they were really horrified and like completely shaken, and they were crying even sometimes.
And if you would have put music, dramatic music to it, no, it would have been, they would have cried more, no?
Yeah.
Probably.
So it's really this kind of, you can create. I'm thinking now, of course, of Clockwork Orange from Kubrick, for instance, or maybe Kubrick films where he works a lot with this music thing, and to put the situation in a very tense context, sometimes satirical. For instance, the Satellites with the Donauwalzer, no, from 2001, or Clockwork Orange, where they rape a woman to the tune of Rossini, which is creates a kind of a very brutal but awakening.
But I have a feeling, Simon, that this was a little different. Like it was not like putting an emotional tension. I feel it was putting a permission and kind of it really changed it's like they were taken in with the group feeling of it being funny somehow.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know, it felt like a
this is funny.
Specific
this is very
thing.
interesting. Also, this is also, because comedy is also can be also divided into things, because comedy, there is also comedy, pure comedy, just slapstick comedy without any content. And it can be quite violent also. If you watch especially the old movies, they were also quite not funny at all. Because they were also not trying to find something. They were experimenting with things, and they were not really funny. They were really violent at the beginning. This is this is also something that is, it's very interesting to see how it works. And sometimes now, when we try to add too much content to a comedy, it becomes very like psychological and a bit intellectual, and it's something else. It can be very interesting also as a form, but then it lost something, like something. It's as you were saying, like if people they don't know that it's a mayor, or if they don't know what it's a bar, they will understand your thing. Maybe some people they will just stay with the little guy falling all the time, but some other people they will say, oh, this guy is really struggling with the authorities, and it's really facing a big problem because there is the mayor in front.
And so the political dimension of the piece.
It has a big political dimension behind, of course. But at some point, but it's a choice that you make. I want to speak about this political dimension, or I just want to put it there and to add a layer so people would see this, but he will take it with from another point of view. And some people they really see this, and they really stay with this more social, and because you are playing with social rules, with social codes there that they recognize, and they stay with them. But some other people they just don't, and they just enjoy see the little guy falling on from the stairs. But in the case of my show, it was a choice also, and it's a choice that you often do in comedy, because if I play the same performance with a very dramatic music, with no doing people laugh, you will have a completely different performance. And some people will appreciate it in a completely different way and say, oh, there was all this behind this. And it happens sometimes. And I really like when some people come and say, wow, but you're really saying this. Because I also have created a speech that really seems to be like a big nothing. But at the end, if you really listen to it, it's not, it's so deep that it's funny.
Yeah.
Because it's too much.
Yeah.
The character goes too far, and then they start to delirar. How to say? It's like, but it's because it's too deep somehow that it's became a big nothing, and so you don't understand at some point. Maybe you can fall and you start laughing, but there is of course a reflection behind. And this happens often with comedy, that people say that comedy is really like a lower art, or like as we were saying, more vulgar. How to say, like
Vulgar.
Easy. Some people even call it an easy laughing. But those people, they have never tried to go on the stage to make people laugh. To say that it's easy, what is easy or not easy. So now it's it's like the karma of comedy somehow. Like you like to.
Yeah.
People said, yeah, but this is just easy laughing. But it can be, also, but it's not always the case.
Yeah. You know, I had theater classes as a teenager, and we all tended to go for the extra drama, the extra dramatic, the terribly heavy. Yeah. And looking back, I really think that we were just scared to go anywhere else, that this tragedy was also some kind of safe space, because, there you could like be heavy and demand attention, demand somehow, respect, because it was so serious.
Yeah, you breathe a lot.
Intense. Me?
No, and
I'm blowing.
No, I know, and you breathe a lot.
Yeah.
Please don't. No?
Yeah.
I would like. Gonzalo.
Just to say that this is sometimes good to think that comedy and tragedy are not really opposite things, but maybe the other side. I would just say they are much close that we think. They really feed each other's. Now it's I think for me it's not the same thing, of course, but almost.
Yeah, they're on the same continuum, actually.
Yeah. So as we say in South America, every party can become a tragedy, and the other way around.
Every what?
Every party can become like a tragedy, and in the tragedy can also become a party. I don't know how to explain this. It's very difficult to translate. I will not even try.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like now comedy and tragedy are more close than we can imagine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's for a human too. Sometimes you're laughing so hard, and suddenly you find yourself crying, and you didn't even know when it shifted from one into the other. You know that feeling.
I would like to listen with you actually to another thing, to a phenomenon for me, because we were on this musical comedy, and I would like to listen to you to Victor Borge, who is a Danish performer, let's say a classical comedian, maybe. I would even say that he is maybe between musical comedy and stand-up comedy, somehow. But he's an old man. I don't know if he lives anymore. And he's like distinguished style. So it's, and also this bourgeoisie comedy, but very charming. But so he is a very good pianist also. And he makes fun with the music, and in his performances on stage, there's so much talking. He's so much like preparing the audience with a lot of simple jokes somehow, but they work, and most of them is like a chain of jokes, like a chain of puns, no? And then he gets to some music, and it's some things you have to see, but some things you also can listen to. And I find it very, very, very interesting how he starts, and he really goes from one joke to the next until he comes after half an hour to some little piece of music, and then he stands up again and tells another thing, and it's very strange. But we will not listen much, but some, and I don't know if I have the right order, but just to have this style. So you can almost analyze it and separate the jokes and say, he starts, and he always communicates. So he starts with something, let's say, familiar, and then he turns it into something absurd. Sometimes it works for me, and sometimes it also doesn't work. And I think there is also an example where also for him it didn't work, and where he has to deal with the situation that nobody's laughing. But I don't know if we will find it. We will try. Okay, I will just try. Yeah? We'll listen. I think this is from the beginning of some performance.
I have a request. I usually do not do request numbers, unless, of course, I have been asked to do so.
Yeah. We go into cold water now, but just to make we have to go into this mood. I usually don't do request numbers unless I'm asked to. No, these kind of wordplay things he's doing. Okay.
And that has happened. I have a request from a lady who called me at the hotel. She said, "Mr. Boogie, would you be kind enough to play?" And then she couldn't remember the title of the thing she wanted to hear. So I said, perhaps you could hum it or sing it for me, and if I know it, I will play it. And she said, well, I can't remember how it goes. And then she said, you're the musician. You ought to know the piece. I said, I'm sorry, I can't help you in this instance. Then she said, it really doesn't matter because I'm not going to be there tonight. So now I'm going to play something else.
So you see how he starts, and it's just one, every line adds another dimension and another direction. Another corner to go around, no?
Yeah, definitely.
So maybe another thing.
Oh, my time is up.
This is very cute.
Again, you have to listen
sorry.
to the beginning. I'm really jumping into, because he's preparing a lot and he's coming on stage. Now we have to. Okay, he starts. He starts with saying, "Oh, my time is up."
Oh, my time is up. Sorry, upside down. My grandfather gave me this watch.
He's looking at his watch, no? He's looking at his watch, and he says, my grandfather gave me this watch.
My grandfather gave me this watch a few minutes before he died for $20. Plus tax. He was a Danish inventor. He invented the soft drink, which he called 4-Up. But the Danes didn't care for that. So he added some sugar, I think, and then he called it 5-Up. Still no good. Then he tried once more, and that time he called it 6-Up. Yeah, but no luck, so he finally gave up and died heartbroken. Little did he know how close he came.
Okay, yeah, you get the more or less. That's then he goes into some music actually again with the grandfather.
He's to music.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, he added something to music. My grandfather. He wasn't very musical, and he was not a composer, but he wrote this, and that is very important because without this, we should never have had this.
Okay, now it becomes very banal, no? But he prepares the audience, no, through all this talking and all these little punchlines and all these little jokes for these tiny bits of music where it's so simple and so stupid, but I kind of find it very charming. Just no.
Yeah, he's definitely charming.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
And then
he's really nice.
Yeah, more. Another cheap pun.
I gave my first concert at 8, or a few minutes after 8, because you know.
Yeah. Okay. There you can hear the also, of course, these kind of jokes. It's very difficult because sometimes the audience doesn't get it. No, really, you hear it if we listen to this again, how he deals with the silence which comes afterwards, and of course the audience is sympathetic towards him because he's famous. But this is more a joke which is on the edge of being just stupid, no? Like, again.
I gave my first concert at 8, or a few minutes after 8, because...
Then, no, it's not...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So then...
He takes the risk also, huh?
Yeah, he takes the risk. So let's listen to this now, some music, okay? Mm-hmm. He's going to play the Moonlight Sonata. Now, we have to imagine that he prepared the audience. He prepared, no? And now.
He just takes a left turn.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's impossible to remember everything.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice. That's very nice.
So it's
expectations and then surprise.
Yeah, almost so clear.
A lot of that. Yeah.
So simple that you can really like study it and say, "Wow,
we have a very stupid joke in Holland. It goes, "Ork, ork, ork, soup you eat with a," and in Dutch, a fork. Oh yeah, yes, it works in English too. Ork, 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 soup you eat with a. And then, of course, you say fork.
Yeah, and then you're stupid.
All the little kids laugh at you.
Yeah. Then there is another thing. I have to tell you now what happens, because he's playing and then he has to change his notes. He turns them upside down. Yeah. He plays with the sheet notes.
Oh yeah, okay. The partitur goes upside down.
Yeah. The partitur is upside down. So the audience sees that, and so we don't see it, but he turns the partitur upside down. So.
So cute. It's very cute.
Yeah.
Don't you like good music?
Don't you like good music?
Yeah. Okay. This is Victor Borge, more or less. It's. I think it's interesting to see how he deals with, of course, also with the rhythm. How you can analyze his jokes as a starting point, and then going from changing it, making it a little bit absurd, and sometimes building on top of each other, no? So, and taking another turn. Always trying to surprise.
Mm-hmm. This is maybe this building up that you're also speaking of, Gonzalo, that it's kind of, you're making this tower that, you know, it's going to fall at some point. It have to.
And it's also, you know, it has also a lot to do with the way an act, let's say a short act, is built, because you have he is there to play piano, not to play some music, and this is just an excuse, let's say, to go and
right,
and how to say, like on stage.
Yeah.
But then it's a gift that we were also talking the other day with Mariah. It's a gift for the audience, but somehow it's also a reward for you, you know. So it's very important that this thing that you are coming to do on the stage and to give to the audience has to be beautiful somehow. It has to be something that you really care about. It's something that you, if I really want to do something nice, so it's very important to do this, to create first the conditions to tell to the audience, to verify if they are with you, if they are listening, if you are with them, if we have, he have to create this contact. He has to create the whole environment. And to also, as we said in comedy, to give the right glasses to the audience. So they say, okay, I will play this, I will make a lot of mistakes while I'm playing. No, but so they will accept it and laugh on it. And so it's, you just can go and sit down, start playing and make the mistake and think that people, they will laugh with you. You know, you have to create the connection first. And you have to also, people have to know, maybe they know him and they have paid the ticket to see him doing this. But if they don't, no, it changes everything. Because this makes a lot also. You can, if the people, they know that he plays that way and they are coming to see this, he can just do it. But if they don't, if you do this on the streets, or if you do this in some other context, that people don't know who you are and how to create this bubble of absurdity, how to create this new reality where all these things will be like part of this reality. Then you have to build it up. You have first to verify if the people are listening to you or not. You can't just go in front of the people and speak and say bad jokes. And it's a way to taste also, no? To measure the tension. But at the same time, you are working already to build up the act. No, it can also happen that you have also to know when you are ready to sit on the piano. No, because it can't just so you have to measure this tension, and it can happen that it doesn't work until the end of the piano playing, but it doesn't mean that you have lost everything, because you have also can build your exit. No, so it's
this is interesting.
Yeah, because you can fail, and people say, "But what is this?" Until you have played your thing, but little by little, the whole thing will develop the other way around. And it's going out that you will accept it. And no, but it's a choice also of let's say dramaturgy somehow, this way, or how you will construct your act. And it's not about time. It doesn't mean that the entrance has to be divided in 2 minutes to minute to minute to minute. It can be like in an act of 10 minutes. It can be 7 minutes of just making this joke to sit on the piano 1 minute and go out. Or it's like you will see how it goes. So when you write down, when you create an act, you have to leave a lot of space, because this act, it will change at least 10 times, 20 times before that you can say, okay, I have something. So this is also interesting to know what he's doing with the bad jokes. It's also to taste the tension. How far can I go? Okay, they accept this, they can go. But of course, it's something that he knows. He's not improvising. But to create it, you have to try. And this is also interesting to see that he's so confident, because now he knows that it works.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
I think, Mariah, what do you say? They were very nice last words, weren't they?
Yeah, beautiful.
Or do you want something? Do you want to add something?
No, I think it's. I was just thinking of this musical. When you were saying about you have to know your context. So how I was just imagining this. You come into the most beautiful classical concert space, and you expect to really hear the Mondschein Sonate. And this happens, and I just wonder how the audience, without any priming or any introduction, it would be very strange. No, would it be funny? I think people might be very upset and really angry and feel.
So,
okay.
To conclude this epic episode, dealing with everything what is the comic art. the art of the comedy, the art of the comic performance. I would like to ask you, Gonzalo, a final question. I would like to ask you to give you the concluding words for the topic, and to ask you if you can tell in short words, like summarize, like conclude, what for you, Gonzalo, is being funny, and what is the essence of your art, of what you like to do.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The essence of being funny, I don't really know.
Yeah, just 2 words, eh?
Yeah. But what for me, of what I do, it's about sharing. Creating a moment of sharing with people, living this moment together, laughing together, enjoying, just celebrating, enjoying, and thinking that we can be there, just laughing. It's the contact that we create with people, the relationship. It is for me, in my work especially. Then what it's funny, it depends on everybody will have a different opinion about what is funny. For me is it's difficult to say.
That's good.
In a few words, I think we have
talked a lot about it, so maybe.
Yeah. I think it's
okay. Yeah, the relation to the spectator. It's a very
it's
communication.
Create this moment together now, where we can, let's say, it's because I play on the street mainly. So for me, it's to arrive there every time and to meet these people and to little by little try to see how we can be together and how we can laugh together and how we can go until the end of the show and in a big party, like enjoying life and enjoying just being there and laughing. And it's a different experience every time, and it's often something that I really like to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's beautiful.
So thank you very much.
Goes to the core, no?
Yeah, thank you very much, Gonzalo, for spending hours with us, preparing and talking. Oh my
God, yes.
And I just want to add, of course, that this project is evolving, and the podcast is also a communication, actually. It's not only that we, 2 or 3, speak together, but there's also another person sitting in this room, which is, of course, he or she is silent at the moment. But in her or his head, they are speaking, they're discussing with us.
they're jumping up and down.
They're jumping up and
tearing
down.
They're
saying, why are they speaking so much about this and that? And it's so easy and whatever. And the great thing is that we can also talk with you, and you can talk with us, and we would ask to support us with your comments, with your ideas, with your critique, with your constructive critique, of course, with your impressions of what you're hearing. And you can find the means on the website, for instance, via email or via Facebook, if you have us on Facebook or wherever. Or on the website, there's a comment section below each episode. And you should definitely subscribe to the podcast. I explain it all the time because it's not only good for us, but it's also good for you, because you will get to know the next episodes. And we are going to build up the topics with the episodes. And we are inviting each and every one of the guests that we had for another time. So I think everything will start to get connected also. So it's good to keep up with it. And if you are in the good fortune to have a spare euro, you can also support us. I'm buying audio equipment. I'm trying to develop a little bit everything, and it's also, of course, some time that it's getting to be work. And of course, in these times, if you are in the lucky position to have some spare euros, you should try to support those who are at the moment without work. And this is the first in your own neighborhood, first in your own field. And if you then in the end have another spare euro, then you can send it to us if you want to support the podcast. So this were my last words. Do you have anything to add, Mariah?
I would say see you next time in the White Room.
Yeah, exactly. Now I have to find the drums.
And thank you again, Gonzalo. Always a pleasure.
Gonzalo?
Yes.
Gonzalo?
Thank you for inviting me. It has been really nice to speak about this for this.
Thank you very much. And
see you next time.
See you next time.
Yeah.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Ciao.
Ciao.